Hi, it's Natalie again. So, a few weeks ago, my friend Crystal asked me to do a video about boundaries. And the truth was, I was still figuring out boundaries myself. Based on my background, I really didn't know what was acceptable and what was not. And I blamed myself a lot for what had happened to me. And I didn't know how to set boundaries without hurting other people or making them feel bad or feeling like I was not a good person. So, over the last few weeks, I have learned some pretty cool things about boundaries. So, one of my greatest teachers about boundaries was my friend Cameron. He said to me the first time I met him, or over online, he says, "F you, I'm Cameron. F me, you're Natalie." And it kind of triggered me a little bit for a second because nobody really says F you like that to just a complete stranger. But it was kind of like, oh, wow. Like, I can be me and you can be you, and I don't get to tell you how to live your life, and you don't get to tell me how to live my life? Really? Wow, that's pretty, universal. Anyway, so this was something I started applying in my life. In fact, the first person I said this to, not because my mom interferes, but just because it's kind of funny, is I told my mom this, and she's like, oh, wow, that's kind of clever. And so I started applying this everywhere I went. And as I applied this, I got more and more confidence to just be me. I didn't need to explain myself anymore. I didn't need to allow others to project themselves onto me. So we need to talk a little bit about everyone in your life. Everyone in your life is a mirror for you. They are a projection of you, but also you're a projection of them. So you're constantly intertwining with other individuals creating their reality as you create your reality. And if you can learn to create healthy boundaries, you can start establishing what's theirs and what's yours. So when someone hurts you and you're in constant, karma's gonna get him, seeking, wanting someone to come in and save you, or any of those kind of things that a lot of people do when they feel attacked. The reality is you're attacking yourself. It's a projection of you coming through another person. It's a belief you have. So you're 100% accountable for everything that happens to you. You don't get to blame someone. You don't get to accuse them of all these horrible things. What you can do is say, okay, so this person's here to teach me something. But then you can set a boundary, set a healthy boundary, and say, okay, thank you for teaching me this, and thank you for reflecting this insecurity about myself or whatever it is. And then you can say, okay, and I release you to your highest and best good, and you can block them, or you can do whatever you need to be able to no longer choose that kind of reality. Here's the ticker, though. If you actually heal it, and you actually go within yourself, and you actually find out what this person is trying to teach you, they will actually move out of your life for you. Their energy will shift and frequency. Let me give you an example. I was working for a company, and there was this one woman there who, as we were being trained, she wouldn't stop talking and cracking jokes. And everybody in the entire office hated her. Seriously hated her. She was getting hate mail. And she had no respect for anyone's time. So when we were, one day, because she was really getting on my nerves one day, and I went home and I'm like, what is she reflecting for me? What is she trying to teach me? And I realized I talk a lot, and I crack a lot of jokes, and there have been times that maybe I didn't pay attention to time, and I took, and so I forgave myself for those parts of myself. I accepted them, I forgave them, and I became more conscious so that I stopped that behavior in the future. Well, the next day when I went into to the training, she was there, and she didn't bug me. She didn't annoy me anymore. But she still did it to everybody else. And her and I became really good friends. And she eventually shifted out of my reality, but to this day I know someone who still works there, and they still hate her with a passion and she's still in their reality because she's trying to teach them something about themselves. So there's a point where you have to heal what reflection is, and then there's a point of setting boundaries. If someone is trying to tell you how to run your life in any way, shape, or form, whether that's how you dress, how you talk, how you eat, any of those things, that is control. And that is a place where you need to set a healthy boundary. Only you get to decide that for you. Only you get to decide what you want in your life or what's right for you. No one else in this world gets to do that for you. Some other things about boundaries that I've noticed is, so when you become, I've been on a journey of self-love for a while now, and I have become very, very confident within myself, and I love myself. And actually, when a guy contacts me and tries to either lure me through money or lure me through different things like call me babe or lover, it actually just is like, no, sorry. I have no interest whatsoever to be with anybody other than someone that I feel completely is 100% whole within themselves. And so, I call it the moon effect, or when you light up, when you become a candle. You start collecting bugs and moths, and they start coming at you from all directions, both male and female, and they want your light. And you share your light with them because there's plenty of light. But what happens is, if there's too many and they cling around, they will actually, they will frizzle if they come into your light because they're not prepared for it. And so they end up dying. So for their own safety, it's important that you actually create a net around your light so that it keeps out bugs and keeps out moths. Because the only people that you really, really want to continue with in your life are other lights. Because fire spreads. Fire is contagious. And the more fire you gather, the greater you become. You feed each other. But if all these moths come, they're going to end up dying in your light because you're dangerous to them. They can't really hold your intensity. And so it's creating those healthy boundaries to say, I love you. And you give them the tools they can to create their own light. But you stop allowing them to cipher from yours because they're not ready for it. So there's a lot of things that boundaries can do for you. They can liberate you in so many ways. So it's good to recognize when a good boundary needs to be set. A good friend of mine had an incident happen to her a few weeks ago, and a man was abusive with her. And at that point, she should have said no. But because she loves this person, she continued to happen. Well, it escalated, and it escalated again. And so I got to sit with her during this experience, and she, again, was more worried about his livelihood than her own. What he's reflecting to her is boundaries. He is trying to help her. People are not good or bad. They are reflecting to you. They are trying to get you to stand up for yourself and set certain boundaries. And so she continues to try to love him, but the truth is she's got to love herself. She has to say, no, this can't happen anymore. And when she learns to set this healthy boundary, there will never be another male in her life that will be able to push that button again. Because she will say, no, that button's off limits. And so creating these healthy boundaries is super important for you to become your ideal self and to create a space where you can love yourself unconditionally without the input of other people being able to control your emotions. Anyways, hopefully this is, this makes sense. This helps you. If you feel like you're inspired by it at all, create your own videos, start putting yourself first, and I will talk to you next time. Have a fabulous day.